I'm feeling good. I like a dude who fucks his life up and then gets it back together with purpose. Let's go, Jack!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Good Bro, Bad Bro, the #1 show on the internet for dating advice and self-improvement for young men and women too. Shout out to all the kings and queens that are here. Before doing anything, hit the like button. We upload brand new videos every single week. As you guys noticed, a little bit of a different setup today because we're not at our home base in Toronto. We're on a little bit of a trip, which is very interesting because it's actually ironic that the thing we're going to be discussing today is Valentine's Day and breakups. And what do you know? We are not going to be home for Valentine's Day. So before we dive into it, today I'm going to be joined by Cringe Daddy. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, buddy?
Nice
to be back.
You. Yeah.
Long time no see.
It's been a while. So yeah, guys, today this episode is going to be all about Valentine's Day and breakups because statistically speaking, there are a lot of breakups before, after, and on the actual day of Valentine's Day. And we're going to work you guys through some solutions on how to avoid that happening to you so that you don't have to go through a breakup on Valentine's Day. Now, by the time this episode comes out, you guys are going to have a bit of a time before Valentine's Day actually comes up. So for those of you guys that are single, we're going to go through some ways that you can potentially ask out one of the girls that you're seeing to be your Valentine, or not ask her out because maybe it's not in your best interest. Maybe it's the wrong move to do. And we're also going to be advising you guys that are in long-term relationships, or maybe you just got into a relationship recently. Valentine's Day is a bit premature. We're going to go through all the different scenarios here and guide you guys through it, okay? Anyways, buddy, what are your thoughts on Valentine's Day right off the bat?
Valentine's Day is a big one, man. It's a big, expensive day for most men. And, bro, it actually marks the end of what we consider cuffing season. So it is the end of cuffing season and pretty much the official, beginning of hot girl summer. So a very special day and really excited to break it down in this video today.
Okay, so really quick, can you give me a real quick rundown of cuffing season and why it ends on Valentine's Day?
Absolutely, bro. So cuffing season and hot girl summer are basically, the two date ranges that we split the year into. And I'd say cuffing season pretty much starts around Halloween time and ends on Valentine's Day. And that's really a matter of it gets really cold out in the autumn, in the fall, a lot of holidays. You kind of want to pair up with someone to stay warm, have, all those holiday activities with them throughout the fall while it's cold out. And usually around the New Year's time, the holiday time, you get way too drunk. You really start to get to know someone a little too well. And that's where things in a relationship will kind of fall apart a little bit or get stronger. So those relationships that aren't going to last probably should end in January, but most of them hold on because Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And what a shame it would be to break up right before Valentine's Day. But once that day is over, you can let go of the relationship. Hot girl summer's right around the corner. That's the last day.
Well, yeah. So in many ways, this is really like the sequel to the very first episode of Good Bro, Bad Bro, where we went over cuffing season relationships, and we laid out the timeline in which people get into relationships. So like we were saying, most people are single in the summertime. And as things progress in the fall, around September, that's when they start to slow down as the weather gets a little bit colder. People get into relationships towards the end of October, early November, because there's a couple key dates that line up, guys. You got, depending where you're from, Canadians and Americans, they share different dates. But for Thanksgiving, they have a holiday where you get to go home and see the family, and you get to essentially gauge how serious your relationship is. So when it comes to gauging how serious your relationship is, you'll start to bring the girl that you're seeing or the guy you're seeing back home to meet your parents, your friends, and your family. And when it gets really serious is Christmas. Thanksgiving, Halloween, those are like the little tests. Thanksgiving is the first family test, but usually that's too premature. Halloween, that's when you have the first photo together, because most people that are seeing each other, they get that photo, and the photo is posted online to social media. So everybody gets to see that, hey, this person is with somebody. If there's no photo yet, it's still open season, because if she wanted to be with you, then the photo would have gone up. Now, there's going to be a lot of people on TikTok and the internet saying, oh, I never post on social media. Sure, that's true, but the majority of people do. And this podcast is about the majority of people, not the minority people that don't use social media.
Right.
For those of you that don't use social media, shout out to you. It is cancer, okay? Anyways, though, Christmas is the big test. But like it is being a test, Christmas is also when the turkey gets dropped, right? A lot of people are like, you know what? Fuck, I don't want to bring this person home to my family. So yeah. Christmas is a big breakup date as well.
That's a big one, bro. But I would say the biggest of them all, New Year's. That's the first time you get absolutely buck wild drunk with your partner. And you see a different side to them a lot of the time when they drink. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, on Christmas, I mean, it is a lot to bring somebody home to your family. But New Year's, if you're seeing somebody, you got to spend it together with them.
Oh,
If you don't spend, like, for all the people that saw the last TikToks from around New Year's time where we were like, yo, if you don't spend New Year's with your baby girl, things are probably going to go sour. I'm curious how it went. Did you guys break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend on New Year's? If so, what happened? Why? We want to hear it in the comments below. But New Year's is going to be one of those times where you get to go out with everybody and get fucked up. Now, if you are going out and getting fucked up with your friends, but your significant other there, that imposes questions, right? Like, why aren't you there? Are you is it because you're far away? Are you on some kind of work trip? You're with family from Christmas still? Like, there's definitely exceptions to it. But for the most part, if you can get through New Year's with your girlfriend or boyfriend, that's a really good sign.
that's a big one, bro.
And then you have some time off. You have the whole of January and the first half of February to just be breathing room. Because before that point, you have so many different holidays you got to get through together. Now, Valentine's Day. At this point, you've made it through, let's say, Christmas and New Year's, and now you have a nice consistency. So this is probably like the at least 3-month mark in the most relationships, because the most common time people get into relationships is the fall. And January will be about the 3 or 4 month mark. Now, this is what happens, though, when people take their foot off the gas. And we don't want you guys to take your foot off the gas.
Keep the pedal to the floor, baby.
Yeah. Once you get through Christmas and New Year's, you think that, most of the hard work is done, the heavy lifting out of the way. It is, to an extent. But Valentine's is like that day of love, right? So the whole history of Valentine's is it's named after a guy named Saint Valentine, who apparently was a Christian martyr. And he died for doing some kind of religious shit. But
No way.
it eventually turned into a day of love for everybody else around the world. But it's also become a huge marketing ploy for people to spend money and spend time together. And ironically, this marketing hype beast has actually been turned into a make or break day for relationships.
It's a killer of relationships, bro.
Big killer.
Valentine's Day is, dare I say, one of the most expensive days of the year. And I have this theory about anything in life, man. Like, if there's a giant lineup to get into like a restaurant or a store, it's never worth the hype. And Valentine's Day creates that environment pretty much everywhere in town. Like, think about it. You got to get roses. You know how much it costs to get roses delivered, bro?
Very expensive.
Like $10 a flower.
Yeah, it's upwards of about like $100 to $150.
It's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, so basically, companies in mainstream media have turned Valentine's Day into a huge business, right? Because there's major insecurities in relationships. Yeah. People are like, fuck, Valentine's Day is coming up. I have to give something to my significant other so that I show that I love them. And if I don't do anything big for Valentine's Day, that's a justifiable reason for them to break up with me. Like, oh, he didn't do anything for Valentine's Day. He doesn't love me. Like,
you don't want to be in that dynamic in a relationship, too,
no.
man. Like, I've seen so many of my friends get into these relationships where they're always trying to one up their partner. So, like, buddy will get his girl like a necklace for Christmas, and then she's like, oh shit, that was like $100. I've got to get him a $200 watch.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, she got me a $200 watch. I've got to get her $400 tickets to a concert. And I saw them starting to level up until like they were buying each other vacations to Ireland and shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
Insane, bro.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're spending more on this partner than you would in your like RRSP. Like, how are you going to retire?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
So this is actually a good point to bring up, the financial end of Valentine's Day, because oftentimes, especially people that can't afford it, right? If you're balling or you're doing good, there's no big deal about getting nice gifts for the person you're dating. But a lot of people are living that Instagram lifestyle where they want to show a lot and they kind of buy things to present a lifestyle that they're not actually living in order to show their affection, right?
That's a big one.
I know a buddy who spent thousands when he couldn't afford it around Christmas time. And he shouldn't have done that because he basically put himself into a position where like he spent more than he was making that month, right? But what happens is people in relationships will be like, okay, well, how much are you spending? And then, well, if you're spending that much, I got to spend that much too. Yeah. Because if the gift you got wasn't the same monetary value as the one they got you, there's a deficit there. It's like, well, you don't love me as much as I love you.
What a slap in the face.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's always like, oh, it's the thought that counts. Like, it's so thoughtful of you to get this. But in the back of everyone's head, there is that dollar value. There is that number. And there's always going to be that insecurity if you spent less than the other person.
Valentine's Day is putting a price on love.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
Now, this isn't reality, though. this is basically what is implied by advertisers. And like I said, the insecurities and scarcity about Valentine's Day.
And I'm going to break it down, bro. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to my cheap kings out there. I don't spend $1 on Valentine's Day. I'm making baby girl dinner in my kitchen. I'm lighting some fucking candles. I'm stealing some roses from the local garden center. I ain't buying shit for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you don't need to buy anything for Valentine's Day. You can, however, have a really good experience with the girl, because the value for Valentine's Day isn't necessarily the materialistic goods, but it's the experience, right? Mm-hmm. Now, there are symbolic things that you can get girls for Valentine's Day. For example, guys, obviously there are the flowers. There is the nice dinner, right? But as opposed to taking her out for dinner, you can make her a nice dinner. You can present your house as like a nice, lovely place, right? Or you could do something creative, like go outside, have a picnic, go on a hike, something like that. It doesn't have to be the Valentine's Day special. Now, once again, there's nothing wrong with it, but the idea is Valentine's Day is forcing people to live out of their means, right? Yeah. And you're basically living out of your means because of that anxiety you have that whatever you do isn't enough. But if you're in a really good relationship with somebody, then it's always enough. And I say it's always enough with a grain of salt. Obviously, you can never take your foot off the gas in a relationship, because that's what ends up with relationships ending. You become a weaker version of the person that you were when you got into the relationship. And over time, your partner loses attraction to you. And then there will be a big speed bump along the way, like say a Valentine's Day. You drop the ball hard while you're already declining, and that's it. You're fucking done. And
like you said, bro, like it's one thing if you're just balling out of control, you got good money and you want to treat your girl, like nothing wrong with that. But like if you feel as though you have to spend outside of your means to afford gifts for someone, just hoping that it will make them happy enough to stay with you, that's not really a healthy relationship.
No. And that's a dangerous precedent as well. Valentine's Day in many ways, guys, is a great way that you can test your girl, because who's to say that the girl that you're dating isn't superficial? Who's to say that the girl that you're dating isn't using you? Who's to say that for all those kings out there that just got into a relationship, maybe you've been seeing a girl, but you guys aren't official yet, and you're going to make that leap on Valentine's Day. She could have multiple Valentines, guys. This happened many times back in the day. Right now, I have a girlfriend, obviously, but before that, there'd be Valentine's Days where I was very aware that girls I'd be slamming actually had guys that were taking them out and giving them shit on Valentine's Day. And it wasn't any of my business. There was nothing I could do about it. But it'd be something that would come up. Like, yeah, I got so many gifts on Valentine's Day. How about you? And I would just be like, what do you mean? And they'd be like, well, yeah, like this guy got me this. This guy got me a watch. This guy I haven't even gone out on a date yet with. Like, we haven't even slept together yet, but he's like blowing up my phone. And she's getting pumped by somebody else, man. So that's...
Yeah, well...
Valentine's Day can be rough for a lot of you kings.
Way she goes.
Yeah. So before we get into, for those in relationships, let's break down being single on Valentine's Day. First of all, a lot of people get broken up with around January and Christmas time.
Facts.
So they have the one-night stands, the rebounds, usually around New Year's. Everything's fresh, but then life goes back to normal for about a month. Now, around the end of January, that loneliness kicks in again. And people are like, you know what? I kind of want to get back on the market. I want to start dating. And this is, again, because of that huge pressure to be with somebody on Valentine's Day. That is a status symbol.
It's brutal, bro. And here's the thing. I'm going to throw it out there. I've made the mistake before of being like single Pringle on Valentine's Day. Let's hit up someone from the roster, you know, like a booty call type beat to come over and chill on Valentine's Day. Big mistake. Because then in her head, she got the idea like, oh, I'm so special to him that like he wanted to see me on Valentine's Day.
Right.
And then it brings like way too many feels into the equation when that was never the intention.
Yeah, what it also implies is, once again, if you make that move too early, too prematurely, when you're not in the right position, wow, that guy doesn't have anybody else to be with on Valentine's Day?
It's lose-lose, man.
Isn't that so fucked up,
You cannot win in that scenario.
No.
And honestly, like all the social pressure to be with someone on Valentine's Day, it's all like artificial. It's made up. Like have a beer, play some Call of Duty, and get the day over with. It's tough.
A lot of guys will be seeing a girl and they'll be like, hey, like, I don't know if, you know, this is serious yet. So the first test will be, you know, Valentine's Day, because once again, they were single during the New Year's and everything. So let's say you start dating a girl right after New Year's. You guys meet, everything's going good. You've been going on some good dates. Maybe you've hung out with her friends. I mean, you're only a month in, right? Usually around the end of January, early February, the conversation will come up, hey, like, you know, what are you doing for Valentine's Day? What do you think of Valentine's Day? A way to gauge interest and collect information. People will just throw it out there casually as a joke. basically waiting for you to bite and talk about it, you know? So like, oh, Valentine's Day is coming up. Not a big fan of it though. What about you? And then they will say, oh, they don't want to disagree. So they'll be like, oh yeah, like it's overrated. I don't take it too seriously, you know, but low key, the two of them want to ask each other out.
Right.
But they're just gauging interest, right?
That's a big one.
So when you throw those feelers out there, you actually develop concrete information. When you throw that feeler out about Valentine's, like, hey, it's coming up, you know, like maybe we should do something, haha, you know, like as a joke, right?
Yeah.
And then they go cold all of a sudden. They pull back. That's how you know they don't want to spend Valentine's Day with you.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, bro, let me like take a step back. You were seeing a girl, just clapping cheeks on the reg.
Yeah.
And she got Valentine's gifts from multiple dudes.
Yeah.
Does that mean she had multiple hangouts within the Valentine's day? Like
Oh, not the day of.
Okay, I was going to say
Not
she had
the
a
day of.
morning Valentine, a lunch Valentine, a dinner Valentine, a late night Valentine. Like,
That's actually a reality for some people. Pretty high level shit.
yeah.
But let's break it down. It, you know, obviously women have much more leverage for this because it's a lot easier for women to get sex than men. It's just nature and it's supply and demand. However,
How dare you?
there are some obviously high level men that have a nice roster going, and yeah, they have multiple options on Valentine's Day. But being that the onus is always on the man to go after the girl as opposed to the other way around, a lot of the women are basically just getting hit up by guys.
Mm-hmm.
So with that creates abundance for these women, and they can be very selective because guys, they see Valentine's Day as like, hey, this is an opportunity that I can go out with this girl, right? Valentine's is coming up. Maybe she isn't with anybody. There's no photos of her with anybody on Instagram. That's a big tell. No pics on Instagram before Valentine's Day usually means open season.
Open season.
Yeah.
And it's also a big indicator. What does she post on Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
That's
So
a big one.
We're not even there yet.
We'll get there.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
One thing I was going to say, though, is like a lot of people I see comment, like, how do these guys know anything about girls? They're just talking out of their ass. Like, girls aren't really like this. When we talk about, like, girls getting gifts from multiple dudes for Valentine's Day, it's like they don't understand, like, we've obviously dated girls. Like, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've had girls come to my place directly after dinner with another guy. Like, guys will drop girls off at my place after a date with them.
Yeah. And it's fucked up.
Yeah, and that's like a reality. And people comment like, these guys don't know anything. Like, where do you think we're just making this shit up? Like, it's from experience.
Yeah. Valentine's Day has happened once a year for the last fucking 20 plus years of my life, right? You know, like I've been seeing it since middle school, high school, but especially when you're older, man, every year, because if you do have a roster going, if you're dating, if you have multiple options, basically everybody gets into the scarcity of like, okay, well, like who's the one for Valentine's Day though?
Whoa.
A lot of the roster too will know that you have a main chick that you're seeing, and they won't even fuck with you on Valentine's Day. They'll actually respect that. They'll be like, hey, I'm not going to hit him up on Valentine's Day. I know he's busy. And for all you guys out there that are playing the field and you have a nice roster going, you fuckboy kings out there, what you want to do is if you do want to keep your roster going, you have to keep a super low profile around Valentine's Day. You got to say you're busy, because when you spend Valentine's Day with the girl, that's like your main girl out of your roster.
Yeah.
Whoever gets Valentine's Day privilege, that's like your top choice. And
It's a dangerous game to pick.
that actually is what leads to getting into relationships.
Yeah.
Studies show that a lot of people get into relationships on Valentine's Day because that's the first move in the new year.
It's a big play. So if you are trying to keep the roster and remain kind of a fuckboy, the play is like, you know, help your mom build some IKEA furniture that day. I would just avoid a date entirely, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. If there's a girl that you know you're not going to date and you know that it'd be just like she gets it if you just chill with her on Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
that's a play as well. It's a little bit more intermediate for all you brutal kings out there. But if you do like a girl and you think that she could be a girl that you want to date, here's how you can actually get into a relationship with her on Valentine's Day.
Whoa.
First thing you got to do, you got to bring out the calendar and measure how long you've actually been with her. Okay. Things usually get pretty serious at like the 3, 4, 5 mark, but the transition from going from just kind of seeing each other to being exclusive to being in a relationship, that's usually like a 3-month timeline. First month, you guys are going out maybe once a week, then it gets to twice a week. You start to do more stuff together, usually hook up, sometimes first date, second date, third date. And then after about a month and a half, the girl will usually come to the guy and say what?
What are we?
That's right. It's always the girl that has to say that, guys.
Yeah.
Because if the guy says that, as much as I like to pretend that the guys and girls are even, it's not.
You never ask that question.
No.
Never.
Because what does that say to the girl? Oh, fuck, this guy likes me more than I like him. Especially that early, 1 month in. You know, It has to be the girl that comes to you and says, what are we? That's what's important to maintain that nice dynamic, because like I said, women want somebody that wants them just a little bit less than that. You know, it's a very small number, but you can't have a guy show all his cards, because then he's too interested, which means he's too needy. And that means, well, I guess nobody else really likes him. You know, you don't want to be in a position where the guy wins the girl over. It's got to be the other way around. And then when you get into a relationship, it evens out, because the guy has already taken that leap of faith to initiate the interaction. The guy approaches the girl, the guy leads the dynamic, the guy sets up the dates, and then the girl is the one that takes the next step into the relationship. You can't have it where the guy initiates and leads everything. He has to basically let her get enough interest to come to him. Otherwise, once again, that's how you get into that dynamic where the guy does everything for the girl, and the women eventually get unattracted to that. And by the way, we're talking about like spoiled, entitled people in North America, not like countries in Europe or around the world where people are much more normal.
Yeah.
We definitely have like a very different vibe over here.
I think too, like we're talking about people who have like a decent amount of options.
Right.
You know what I mean? Specifically girls. Like we're not talking about, no offense, most of the people duetting good bro, bad bro videos on TikTok don't really have a lot of options. I'm going to throw it out there.
No. The people that make stitches and duets on TikTok are usually pretty low value, to be honest. And you could say, oh, well, you put content on TikTok. Well, yeah, that's what TikTok is. You make content, right? And to be fair, so are stitches and duets, but it's always just gremlins, you know? It's always cave trolls and purple-haired freaks.
Yeah,
They're just freaking out. And I get it.
They seem miserable, man.
Well, bro,
I feel bad.
You would be miserable too if you had no options on Valentine's Day, right? So that's the kicker. So we're trying to help you guys. But anyways, segueing back. Yeah, so anyways, you're seeing somebody for that first month, going on a couple dates, and then about a month and a half in, the girl kind of starts to want to spend more time with you, right? Like sleep over, or sleep over a couple nights in a row. Maybe you invite her out with some friends. Basically, you're showing her, hey, like, I like you, so I want to bring you around my friends, my squad, you know. I want you in. You're not just a secret girl that comes over at nighttime. You're kind of like a daytime girl, right? I can have you around people. And if a girl or a guy wants to bring you around his friends in the daytime about a month or so in, that means like you're getting upgraded. You're not just somebody that slams cheeks anymore. You're actually somebody that is being tested for relationship material.
Yeah, you're not, you know, the dirty little secret.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's about a month and a half in. And then inevitably, you know, some feelings start to develop, and that's where the girl usually, but, you know, honestly, it's probably with the guys a lot of the time nowadays. You know, I've learned from enough relationships I've been in that didn't go so well because I gave too much too soon not to drop feelings, especially that early into a relationship, right? Trust me, guys, if you're a guy watching this, do not open up your heart as much as you want to early into a relationship, because girls will unconsciously see that as a sign of weakness, and they will not be attracted to it.
And furthermore, they'll tempt you to do it. They'll be like, oh, just, you can open up to me. Like, I'm not like that. Like, yeah, just be yourself around me. Like, da-da-da-da-da. And like, I don't even know if they know that they're doing it. I don't even know if they're aware. But they're actually like convincing you to show kind of a weak side to yourself that makes them unattracted to you.
It's a test.
It's a vicious cycle.
It's unconscious. And you know, for you guys that are confused as to why a girl will test you like that, well, essentially, you know, when you go back to evolutionary psychology, it's in a woman's best interest to find the highest quality partner, the partner that will give the best genetics for their kid, but also be around to provide. Now, in different times of a woman's life, and even a man's life too, the partner they look for provides different things. So for the first half, you'd say, of like a woman's dating life, it's mostly like just good looking guys, fun, exciting stuff. The second half is like, hey, well, how much money does this guy make? Will he be around? Will he be a good father? Is he reliable enough and disciplined enough that, you know, he'll raise the son to be a good boy, or the daughter to be a good, strong girl? And these good-looking, exciting guys and these safe provider guys look totally different. They act totally different. So these are two different stages of a woman's dating life where she looks for these guys. Now, the trick is with a girl that has a lot of options, what she wants to do is find that good-looking, exciting guy and convert him into a guy that can be that good provider as well, right? So converting the bad boy, you know, converting the guy that has a lot of options but decides to choose her. They do not want to be stuck with the guy that is left over and basically jumps at the best first good thing he has because he doesn't have a lot of options. And usually, you know, like these guys that are good providers and make a lot of money, They're maybe on the shorter end. They're not the best looking. They don't have that exciting lifestyle, but they're safe and they're comfortable. And after a girl goes through a lot of heartbreaks, that is what feels best to her, right? But you don't want a girl that sees you as the second best option. You don't want a girl that went through all these exciting guys and then landed on you. You want a girl that sees you as that fun, exciting guy that chose her over the other girls because she earned it. And one of the ways that she earns it is by testing you to see how you hold up, because once again, it's in her best interest to get the highest quality guy. Yeah. And if she early on sees like, wow, this guy's already ready to commit to me like 1 month in, I haven't even done that much for him.
You've got to put up a bit of a challenge.
Yes.
You just can't be the easy guy who's always bending over backwards, doing all the effort, putting out the fullest effort. Like, you can't be simping. I hate to say the word.
Yeah.
You can't be simping too hard.
If you're already showing signs of simping like a month in, what does that say about you? You sleep with a girl 5 or 6 times, she kisses you on the forehead, she cooks for you once, and you're head over heels for her. What does that say? You don't have anything better going for you. You don't have any better options, and you probably don't have experience handling relationships that have gone past that. And she wants a guy that can handle all that stuff, right?
Yeah. And I think the biggest hack to just avoiding that behavior, because it's so easy to fall into that trap, is literally just be busy. If you're a guy who has like all the free time in the world on his hands and you're not doing anything with your time, it's so easy to fall into that trap of being like, good morning, good night, texting all day. How's your day? What are you up to? Oh, I did this. Like texting all day, every day, simping over the top. If you're just busy, like if you're on your purpose, if you're driven, if you're building something, maybe you're working on a project, maybe your career keeps you busy, your studies, maybe you're like writing music, whatever it is. If you're busy doing shit that interests you, you're not going to be spending time texting her, calling her all day, every day. And then she's going to like you more. Right.
You don't want to be the guy that fakes all that, because while you're faking it, since you're not actually doing anything, you're going to be in a ball of turmoil. You're going to be off your rocker with your mind spinning. Hey, like, fuck, I didn't text her back for 5 or 6 hours. When's she going to text me back? Like, but if you're busy, you just don't care.
You don't worry about that shit.
No.
Yeah.
So like, the key is to be busy.
Is like, people always ask me like, oh, how long should I wait to text back to a girl? Like, that shouldn't even be a question. Like, no. When you have the chance, do it, but don't always have the chance. Like, create a lifestyle where you don't have to worry about that kind of frequency.
That's right. And that's a whole other segue too into, how you should handle dating and communication, because I'm a big believer that texting should be minimalized. Yeah. It should be real life hangouts, the occasional phone call / FaceTime. Texting's purely for logistics or things that, once you're in a relationship, it's like, hey, babe, we're thinking about you, got this for you, dinner's on the table when you get home. Yeah. Or, save this day, there's a concert, I got tickets, we'll go there this time. Here's this article I saw that reminded me of that thing you were telling me about. Like, I'm not saying you can't text your baby girl. I text my baby girl. But what I'm saying is, like, if you want to talk about how their day is or, like, what's going on, call them. Yeah. You got to get on the phone. Yeah. But you don't want to play that back and forth game.
No. You don't want to be texting paragraphs all day, every day with anyone.
No. Yeah. Now, back to getting into that relationship. So now we've gone through the stage of, right, you're just seeing each other one-on-one. The girl will propose, like, what are we? And that what are we is basically saying, like, are you seeing other girls or not? Now, girls are smart. They know when to leverage this very well. Because like I said before, it's in their best interest to find the best guy. And this is a very big test. This is like the test of a relationship. Now, there's a lot of ways you can fuck this up. We'll have to do a whole video on that another day.
What a topic.
But for the sake of the what are we, what a girl's trying to find out is, are you going to want to keep banging multiple chicks?
Yeah.
Or, like, for all she knows, you're only banging her. She has no idea because you haven't told her.
That's why she's asking, really.
That's right, yeah.
Who else are you banging?
But if she asks that, that's a good thing because it implies that you potentially are, right? If a girl doesn't ask, that means that she knows you're not, right? And that's something that you don't want. But anyways, the what are we is thrown out there. And just like what we said before about, Valentine's Day shit, it's one of those casually like, haha, like, what are you doing for Valentine's? Haha. It's the same vibe with the what are we? So what a girl will do, though, is if you answer this wrong, she'll be like, oh, so we're not exclusive. Okay. Okay. And then she'll drop just a couple of those. And then you'll be like, fuck, she's going to go back to the roster.
She's going to Jack Denmos.
No, but in reality, too, like, if you fail that, like, you already know, like, oh, so he's seeing other girls still? Like, before it's implied. Mm-hmm. You always want to be in the implied zone. But when it's stated, not only does that, like, you never want to tell a girl that.
Yeah.
It has to be implied.
For sure.
Because if you tell it, then it's concrete. It's in the air.
Yeah.
You know, it's out there. And when it's out there, she can do that too. And she can do it way easier than you. Way better.
What I will say, though, is guys suck at hiding shit.
Yeah.
Like, girls always know. They're so in tune with their intuition and shit. Like, guys, like, we're dumb. You know?
Yes.
Guys don't cover shit up. They don't delete text messages.
No.
Girls leave, you know, they're like scrunchies at your house and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Girls always find out, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're pretty cunning.
Now, that's another thing with Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, a lot of the girls in your rotation, they might be like, hey, so what are you doing for Valentine's Day? So here's for you guys that are, you have a more advanced or intermediate, I suppose. You have a couple chicks you're seeing right now. This is where you got to be really tricky, because if a girl really, really likes you, she's going to want that post. If you've been consistently seeing a girl 2 or 3 months and you guys are like kind of allegedly dating, but it's not official yet, Valentine's Day is the coming out party. That is the welcome to the show.
Oh, shit.
On Valentine's Day, a girl wants to post a photo with her guy, just like a guy would hypothetically want to post a photo with his girl. Now, here's where you got to be tricky, because, you know, if you say no to her, but it sounds like a bullshit excuse, then you're fucked. Like, what possible reason could you have for missing Valentine's Day?
Building IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
The best reason.
No, bro. That's a tough one, dude. Nobody does family shit on Valentine's Day.
Fuck.
I mean, if they do, that's got to be the least celebrated family day of all the other holidays of the year.
You know what the best play is, buddy?
What?
Sorry, I had to fly to Arizona for work.
Yeah, so that's actually a great point too, because, you know, we aren't in Toronto right now. We're actually outside of the country. Next week's episode is going to be an episode from Toronto, but just because Valentine's Day was this week, we had to do an emergency episode here for
Very
you guys.
important.
Drop the like button, obviously. But yeah, so if you have a legitimate reason, right, like if you have a work trip, then there are solutions that can be made. And also for you guys that your girl isn't going to be with you on Valentine's Day, she gave you some kind of reason. Here's how to tell if that's like a legit reason or a bullshit reason. Because I'm saying it right now. If you have a girlfriend or boyfriend and they deliberately do not spend Valentine's Day with you, it's fucking over.
That's not your girlfriend.
No, it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
Here's a couple examples of how there could be an exception, though. So, number one, you have work, all right? And I'm not talking about leaving the country work. I'm just talking about people that, for example, like Valentine's this year, it's on a Monday. So, on that Monday, if you work the night shift, if you're a security guard, if you're a police officer.
Restaurant's a big one.
Restaurants, that's a huge day of the year for restaurants. So, a lot of... there's a direct correlation between being a hot girl and working at a restaurant, because servers that are attractive make more money. So majority of your guys' girlfriends are servers, bartenders, shit like that. They're all going to be working double time on Valentine's Day, because you get a fuckload of money.
Big one.
Around the clock. It's like a holiday. Huge business. Now, another one too is like, yeah, guys that are just busy with their job because they have the factory shift that's late at night. Like, there's definitely a lot of exceptions, but the big one is that day everybody's working. It's a weekday. Some years it's a Friday, Saturday, so you should be able to get it off. Another thing to take into consideration, and this is the play I'm seeing with most of my friends that have long-term relationships, but they're busy. They just celebrated a couple of days earlier.
Yeah.
For example, the 14th is a Monday, so the 13th is a Sunday. That's a weekend. Just a nice casual dinner, watch a movie, go for a nice hike, get some small gifts for each other. It's on a Sunday. It's on the 13th. Technically, it's not Valentine's Day. However, that's when you celebrate it. A third one, though, would be if you're working but you're traveling outside of the country, right? So us right now, we are outside of the country for a couple weeks, but we're going to be back in Toronto. But baby girls knew that, right? So if you're dating a girl and she doesn't want you traveling all the time, that's a red flag, for one. You know, a girl that trusts and loves you is cool with you going and doing all that shit, right? Now, once you get over a month, that's where you're in tricky territory. So, for example, if you're dating a girl and she's like, yeah, babe, like, I got to leave for 2 months. I got to go, to the US of A. I'm going to Florida for 2 months. But we can do like a virtual FaceTime for Valentine's Day. That's a little bit of a red flag. Like, what are you doing out there for 2 months, right?
2 months is a big one.
Long distance relationships generally never work out, guys, especially early, right? Because we're talking about guys that just got into these relationships. But yeah, that's one of the exceptions, right? If you are, if you're traveling outside of the location with your baby girl for work. Now, are there any other exceptions, you know?
Buddy, I actually, something ADHD'd in my brain, and I want to bring this up. Remember in high school, did you guys do this thing where leading up to Valentine's Day, you could like sign up to send anonymously like a little like candy to someone in your class?
We did that in middle school, yeah.
Bro, that's a big play. So I allegedly believed at the time, and I still do to this day, that some people were so nervous that no one would send them a Valentine that they anonymously sent themselves a Valentine and then would act surprised.
I definitely know a
when they
couple
got a
people that have
Valentine.
done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about rigging the fucking election, eh?
Dude, that's the play. But the drama that comes up when those people did in fact get a Valentine from someone else. And now they have 2 Valentines.
You know, that's actually a good example. The very first display of like human nature, when you see in middle school, some people get like 12 Valentines. You're like, fuck. So 12 people in this classroom are willing to go out with that girl or guy for Valentine's Day. And they're okay with like, they actually like that 11 other people want that same person because they want to be with them. Now, guys don't want to be with a girl that's been with a lot of guys, but girls want to be with a guy that's been with a lot of girls. And it's ass backwards. It's super ironic, super hypocritical, but it's just the way it is, right? Now, there are girls actually that don't like being with high value guys or guys that have been with lots of girls because that just brings too much drama and stress to their life.
Yeah.
A lot of queens just want to live a normal life. They don't want to deal with refreshing their Instagram, seeing a story of their guy out like with all these chicks that, you know, that he has to interact with for work or whatever.
Right.
It's too much pressure on him, man. A lot of them just want a guy that's, you know, obviously like a guy they're attracted to and they're a high value guy, but they have like a very simple life, you know, and that just comes out of their own insecurity potentially. But the same thing with guys. We don't necessarily like super high value girls that have a lot of options. They choose us, but we don't want girls that are doing that. And the reason is because like, you know, let's say your girl works at a bar in Las Vegas where you got ballers coming in all the time, just offering dream lifestyles, tips, good looking dudes, those short, nice, sweet vacations. Like, you're just playing with fire, man. And it's same with girls. If a girl's dating a guy that is like the lead bartender at some bar that has just 25 dime pieces working under him, that's a lot of competition, man.
Bro, hear me out on this one.
Yeah.
In high school, had a girlfriend, Facebook official. It was serious. On Valentine's Day, you know, I got her a little candygram. But that's not the only one she received. She received a second anonymous candygram from an anonymous secret admirer.
Right. Well, he's probably a simp, buddy.
That shit lit a fire under my ass, bro.
Well, did it make you try harder?
Oh, yeah, big time. And it made me wonder, what if she allegedly got a secret admirer candygram to herself to be like, cringe daddy, buddy, step it up.
I'm sure girls do that in more ways than that example, but I think that one's a bit premature, you know, middle school. But, you know, what a girl will do is she'll be like, hey, well, what's a way to show that I have a lot of options, right? One way would be that analogy you just made. If you send anonymous Valentines to yourself, it looks like a lot of different guys are interested in you, even though you have a boyfriend, right? So you have options, I suppose.
I guess a non-middle school version of that is put up a bit of a thirst trap on the gram.
Thirst traps on Instagram.
Boom. And then be like, oh my God, all these guys DM me. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, like, dude, if a girl's posting thirst traps on Instagram stories and shit, like, dude, 100% she wants that attention, you know? Like, I guess a lot of girls are going to reply to the story like, oh, yeah, like, you look great, queen. Like, sure. But that's not what the point of it was, man. Like, dude, same thing. If, you know, it's a lot trickier for guys because they have to be in really good physical shape to pull off the same thing because men are just so much more hornier than women, right? Men will see a picture of a girl and be like, okay, I got to hit on her. But women, they won't do that because women don't like hitting on guys. It's just a different dynamic, right? They will kind of set up a position where the man can approach them.
They'll drop the handkerchief, if you will.
Exactly, right? So
there are some girls that will like bust in your DMs though when you
Yes.
post anything, but like respect to those queens. I admire it, but
yeah, I mean, I understand the confidence and I rate that, but like a guy likes to be the leader. And, you know, I heard this analogy the other day from Baby Girl. She was talking about, she read this book and this book was breaking down like male and female dating perspectives, and that men essentially like to be the big strong man. So what girls will do is they'll act clumsy, they'll pretend they need help with shit that they don't, because guys feel good when they help girls with that shit, right? Like if a girl can't open a pickle jar, the guy does, and she's like, oh, thank you, and you're like, yeah, I'm strong, I'm fucking sick, right? But girls will do that on purpose in order to get you in there, right?
Yeah, when I was in uni, girls would always do that with study dates. They'd be like, oh, I don't get it. Like,
yeah, that's a big one too. I mean, if you're a guy and the baby girl wants to study with you as opposed to the smarter people in the class, then yeah, it's,
shoot your shot, King.
Be careful though. Maybe she actually just wants to study. There's a lot of horror stories out there of guys that fucked up their chance because girl just actually wanted to study and they went in without proper intel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like read the signs too. Like have a bit of emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
She's twirling the hair, biting the lip.
Right.
So
getting back to Valentine's Day though, guys. Valentine's Day itself, if you're in a relationship. So we're in relationships and we're not going to be there. So what we're going to do is set up some nice little FaceTimes, have a couple candles, and maybe have a couple things set up back home. Like, whoa, a fucking flower got delivered at the door.
I may have hid a present in the crib somewhere.
Wow.
Go find it.
Go look under the bed, shit like that.
Yeah.
But for those of you guys that are not away on a business trip like we are, it's pretty simple, right? Valentine's Day, the best thing you can do is float some ideas to the girl. But at the end of the day, you just got to communicate that you guys are going to be together, whether it's the day before, the day after, depending on your work schedule. You just have to let her know that, like, yes, I am down to spend Valentine's Day with you. Whatever you want to do, we can set it up. Women love planning. They love the logistics of stuff. They love to basically throw out a couple options, and then you are the one that makes the decision on their behalf, right? So, for example, a girl wants to go out to eat. You let her choose the restaurant, but you're the one taking her there. And you're the one saying, we're going to eat. You get to choose where we go to eat, but I'm going to be like, I don't like that place. We'll go to this one. Valentine's Day, you can give a little bit of leeway, right? It's not the end of the world if she wants to go to some place you don't like.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple of basic activities you can do, right? Dinner is really nice. Going to a restaurant, maybe spending an extra 30% more than you normally do, As opposed to going to Kelsey's, you could go to like the Keg, right?
Yeah.
Get a 3-course meal, a dessert, basically just dress up and look good. Valentine's Day is kind of an excuse to just dress up, look good, and go to a formal occasion with your girl.
And I will say too, like it's so easy to feel a bunch of pressure that everything needs to be perfect, but like just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Be chill and like just try to have a good time with it. Odds are she's feeling the same stress that you are.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So like it's on you as the guy to be the calm, cool, collected, confident guy. Crack jokes. If there's a huge lineup and you're waiting in it, make a joke about it. Don't stress like, fuck, I should have made a reservation. Like
yeah.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Laugh it off. Don't take it too seriously and you'll have a way better time.
Absolutely. And one of the things too that guys have a misconception with Valentine's Day is they have to go to like the best place ever. They have to get like the most intricately detailed rose petal fucking heart on the bed. You don't have to do that. If you're like in a serious relationship a couple years in and you have the resources to do it, that works. But once again, we're targeting the majority here that don't have that discretionary income and they maybe aren't even in that position where they're in that good a relationship. I'll say this too, you never want to be in a position where Valentine's Day is your fucking Hail Mary. A lot of guys are fucking the dog leading up to Valentine's Day and they're like, hey, I'm going to blow this one out of the park for her.
At that point,
no.
Go to McDonald's, plate it, candlelight it, and just see if the relationship survives that.
Yeah, well, Jeff Bezos had a great quote about Amazon and their business, and he's like, a lot of businesses fail because they put themselves in positions where the only way they'll survive is if they get a Hail Mary, right? It's like all or nothing. You never want to be in that position in a relationship, and what happens is a lot of guys end up in that position before Valentine's Day. That is why Valentine's Day is one of the most common times of the year for people to break up. Now, let me give you an example of why most people will break up on Valentine's Day. It's because the relationship's going sour and the guy all of a sudden will try to just fucking Hail Mary it. And when you Hail Mary something, that means it's all or nothing. When something's all or nothing, you commit to it so bad that you actually put so much importance on it that what you end up doing is putting the girl on an extreme pedestal, right? you're missing the signs that she's not necessarily into you. Things might be going sour, but you're just so committed to it. And you're doing that even though she's not giving you anything back.
Yeah.
When you give a lot to a girl, but she isn't giving you anything back, she knows this. And she's saying, wow, I barely give this guy anything, and he's willing to do all of this for me.
Yeah.
What does that say about him?
So often guys are trying to find ways to get themselves out of 6-foot holes when the answer is to never put the shovel in the fucking ground in the first place.
That's right. So you guys are going to have about a week and a half notice by the time this gets up. But here's some tips to get you out of the hole before Valentine's Day, okay? First of all, if you haven't made plans for Valentine's Day yet, if it hasn't even been discussed, you got to bring it up. You got to float the idea to your girlfriend. You got to be like, look, Valentine's Day is coming up. What do you want to do? I got a couple ideas, but I'm curious what your input is, right?
Yeah.
You want her to know that you're thinking about it. You want to spend time with her on it, but it's low pressure. Doesn't have to be high key, especially if you're in a rough relationship, right? Because if you're in a rough point in your relationship, Valentine's Day, that's going to put pressure on the girl, right? Maybe she doesn't want to dress up and go out and do all that shit because things are kind of rocky right now. And you push her out of her comfort zone. And the worst case scenario, guys, imagine this. You go out with your baby girl for Valentine's Day. She pulls out her phone. She's just on her phone. She doesn't give a fuck about it. You're putting all this effort in and she doesn't. How's that going to make you feel? That's going to make you feel like shit. You're going to call her out on it. You guys are going to start arguing. And then on Valentine's Day, you get into a big argument. That's what leads to breakups on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
It's just like this. There's a contribution level of attention between two people. And it'll come to a boiling point if you force it.
Yeah.
So if things are going sour, you could just take it easy on Valentine's Day. Just low key. Don't pressure her into it. I remember one time I was dating a girl. Things were a bit rocky around Halloween. But I'm like, no. We got to do Halloween. And, no regrets. But forced her to go on Halloween when she was sick. I remember I fucking got absolutely degenerately hammered. It was awesome.
That's a bad look.
The whole time, though, she was pissed. She didn't want to be there. And we should have just done something more low-key.
Yeah.
Same thing applies to Valentine's Day.
You know what, too, man? Like, people don't break up over one fight, over one day.
No.
Like, if you've been dating for a week, maybe. But, like, if you've been dating for long enough where you've seen enough red flags and you're still together, breakups happen over a series of small events that accumulate into one big fight and maybe a couple fights after that really are the last straw.
That's right.
So pick up on those signs, pick up on those red flags, and like even have a bit of self-awareness to say like, hey, you know what? I really suck at this. Maybe I'm bad at communicating. Maybe I fucking smell bad. Got to hit the shower a little bit more. Maybe I'm bad in bed. I got to watch some Jack Denmo videos and figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Like I know what I'm fucking doing. The onus is on the man to always steer the relationship.
Yeah.
I believe that the onus is on the woman to support the man, to lead the relationship. Obviously, decisions can be shared and everything, but the woman wants to be with the leader, right? The woman doesn't want to be put in the position of being the leader. Obviously, for smaller decisions, right? Like, obviously, women can make decisions too, but she wants a guy to be the leader of the household, right? And you could say that's patriarchy. You could say it's the human hierarchy where the male makes the decision for the household, but basically, it's like a two-way street. Like the woman is the first mate. She is like firing from his hip on his behalf. Like they are a strong-ass team. But at the end of the day, she always looks up to him for protection, reassurance, and strength in hard times, right? So because of that, the onus is on you to perform and keep the relationship going. Now, Valentine's Day is a good way that you can show your appreciation for your girl too. And I'll say this as well. One of the biggest misconceptions about Valentine's Day is that it's all about the girl. It's not all about the girl.
Right.
Girls say they care about it more, which you could argue they do, I suppose. No guy's ever going to admit that he likes Valentine's Day. Like, oh, bro, I don't even care, bro. It's about her, dude. No, guys love when a girl shows them affection and attention and that they support him with their shit. But the mass marketing is for insecure guys that like, fuck, I got to do it good on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And it can make you fucking stress, bro. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a position where things are a little on the rocks? You've been digging that hole. Things aren't going well. Maybe you're not happy in the relationship, but the relationship has remained because Valentine's Day is right around the corner.
That's another angle that hits, guys. This is something that was discussed. Yeah. Because if you're in a steady relationship with somebody, you generally, well, for women in particular, like when they break up with somebody, they usually have somebody else set up. They usually have something that they can leap over to because it just makes it easier. And that isn't because women are evil. It's because they're smarter. You know, they plan things out. A woman will be like, fuck, this breakup is going to absolutely devastate me. This is going to be brutal on me. It would be a lot easier if I had somebody else to take the place of my boyfriend for at least a couple weeks while I figure shit out. That way, it's a more gradual rise back to being, you know, happy and not as depressed or affected by that relationship. Men, they don't have that set up a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So it just hits them like a fucking bus.
It sucks, bro.
Out of nowhere.
Oh my God, dude. It's probably the reason maybe we are the way that we are. Maybe the reason we have a podcast like this.
Well, in many ways, yeah. Like this podcast is basically just helping guys learn from our mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And obviously most people in their 20s have been through multiple relationships, but there's a certain thing you learn when you talk to thousands of people for a living. You see the commonalities between other couples, especially like social interactions. So there is that extra little information there that the common person doesn't see. Like, think about people from high school that have been dating for 8 years and they're like, bro, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Like, my girl never posts thirst traps. Like, dude, that's amazing. I wish that more of that was a thing. But most people don't stay in those long-term high school relationships like their friends do, right?
Yeah, man.
I have a buddy who just got married. He's been dating a girl like 10 years. Like,
You don't say.
yeah, it goes great, man. Like,
That sounds pretty nice.
both of them haven't been with many people. I think they're like early kills in each other's lives, which is always really good for like bonding and shit.
Yeah, bro.
And they've just kind of set up their life to be together and it's working really good. But for every couple like that, there's people that got just devastated.
Yeah, bro. You know what's funny too? You said earlier that, you know, guys will be throwing out Hail Marys on Valentine's Day. Once I had a girl throw a Hail Mary at me and it ties into Valentine's Day.
Yeah, what happened?
So this was one of those relationships where it was very much like a cuffing season type beat, you know, getting together November, December, doing the whole New Year's thing.
Yeah.
After January, like things were starting to like go downhill. I kind of lost feels a little bit. I realized, you know what, like I'm not really feeling this vibe.
Right.
But she was obsessed with me, like so in love with me. And I was like, man, I want to let her go easy. I'm going to stay with her for Valentine's Day because that would be like a tough one right before. And I was like, I'm going to hold on. And then after that, like kind of like let her go easy.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day comes around. She knew that that was the vibe. She was very aware of like where I was at.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
she
a
was
different dynamic, eh?
She was in tune with my emotions. Valentine's Day comes around. We go to a nice little dinner. It was very nice. And at the end of the night, she surprised me like, yo, this might sound crazy. She really loved ballet, right? She's like, I got us tickets to this Russian ballet downtown Toronto. Powerful event, like a big, very fancy, expensive ballet.
This girl, yeah.
And dude, like, I don't give a fuck about ballet. She knows that. She's like, so to make it up to you, I got us like a 5-star like hotel downtown Toronto. I'll take you out to dinner. Like she was giving me like my own Valentine's Day in a way. Like she was gonna take me out and treat me. She must have spent like hundreds of dollars on this night.
Right.
And she gave that to me as a gift for Valentine's Day, as a Hail Mary, thinking that like, okay, she knew after Valentine's Day, it was pretty much over.
Yeah.
And she just extended that shit by another 3 weeks.
So she thought that, but she had a glimmer in her eye. She thought that it could work.
She thought that it could. She was like, you know what? If I buy tickets to this thing 3 weeks in the future, at the very least, he has to stay with me for another 3 weeks because he would be devastating me even more if I spent all this money and then he broke up.
Right.
So I stayed another 3 weeks after it was already like 3 weeks in the hole of like, you know what, not wanting to be there. Bro, ballerina night comes around. I fucking fall asleep for the entire show. The next day, I was like, look, I think you already know. She's like, it's been fun.
Fuck.
Yeah. That was a tough one, but like, what do you think? Did I do the right thing by waiting until ballerina day and then letting her go softly?
The right thing would have been to, it's tricky, right? So think about it this way. You're dating a girl, Valentine's Day is coming up, you don't want to be with her. But if you break up with her a couple days before, what do you know is going to happen on Valentine's Day? You're going to be there alone by yourself, probably with no options set up, and you're going to hate yourself. You're going to be like, fuck. Like, even though it's just an emotional response, like maybe you know that you shouldn't have been with the girl, but you're going to be kicking yourself like Valentine's Day. That's the day when you spend the time with somebody you really like.
Honestly, bro, the way I looked at it is like, I'm going to save $100. Like, I'm doing it for her, staying with her.
Sure, save money. But think about it from her point of view. She got dumped 3 days before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
What is she going to do?
That's why I couldn't do it. Like, for her sake, like, that'd be ruthless.
Well, no, it'd be ruthless, but she's going to go through the whole fucking roster for
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
True.
So instantly, baby girl's just getting multiple kills, right? And, you know, as a guy, you might have a couple kills lined up. But think about it. You hit up a girl 2 days before Valentine's Day. Hey, you want to do something? That, meanwhile, she thinks you're in a relationship because it's like an old roster girl. It's just not a good look.
No.
So you can prevent that from happening by waiting till after Valentine's Day or just giving notice, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you get out of a relationship before Valentine's Day, all you're going to be thinking about on Valentine's Day is who's baby girl with?
What is she up to right now?
What is she up to? And that's fucking nightmare
You
fuel.
do not want to be sitting there with those thoughts.
No.
Nope.
Same with the queens. They don't want to know that.
Nope.
They don't want to think like, fuck, what's my boyfriend doing right now? That whore, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's a tough one.
now, on the contrary, though, if you wait till the day after, I would say that's a bit premature too, because think about it. Like, what happens on Valentine's Day in a relationship? There's the social proof. There's the story.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the photo together.
You'd hate to have the photo up and then next you'd be like, delete that
Next
shit.
day, the photo's gone. That's a big fuck you to
That's
everybody.
embarrassing.
Yeah, because then people know about it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's not their business. But when you post online, because you love to show off, like, hey, like, this is my girlfriend. You know, this is this cool thing we did, Valentine's Day. It's an excuse for us to just post a photo, you know. And then the next day it's gone. Like, that's a huge fuck you, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I think people get so salty with social media posts. When we talk about posting your girlfriend or boyfriend on social media, they go, oh, like, that doesn't matter. It does matter, because at some point everybody posted a photo with their girl and then they had to remove it, and now they're like, fuck, I don't want to have to ever do that again.
Yeah.
So I ain't posting until it's for real.
For real, for real.
Same with girls. Plus, girls get way more you know, attention and options when they don't have a photo with the guy.
Yeah.
You know, so they gotta wait for a while to do it. Now, in your case, what I would have done, let's say, you know, here's a better way to put it. Valentine's Day, everybody's paying attention, right? And when you go through a relationship, the last thing you want to do is have people know about it. The last thing you want to do is have people ask you about it, bring it up,
Yeah.
what happened. You have your one or two homies that you can confide with privately about how you feel. But for the most part, you just want people to mind their own fucking business.
Yep.
Leave me alone, right? But if you do it right around Valentine's Day, you're going to see, like, think about your dumb friends. They're going to be like, oh, look at all these couples. Bro, where's your pick? Are you
Yeah.
still with Marissa, you know?
Oh, man. Mind your own business. But
Right.
in hindsight, Jack, the real right thing to do would have never been to get into that relationship.
Well,
Because I look back at it and I think, maybe I lost a bit of feels. But I even look back to that specific situation and think, like, the reason I even got with that girl is because I wasn't over another girl. So that was like a comfort for me.
that's a whole other podcast.
That's a podcast right there. And with that, I think we're hitting
Close to the hour mark.
close. Anything else you want to?
Closing
Top up on
thought on
this.
the when to actually properly end it. If you do want to avoid all that bullshit in February where there's all those eyeballs on you, just wait 2 more weeks till March.
Yeah.
If you go through a breakup in March, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's asking you. February, that's 2 weeks ago. Nobody's paying attention to that anymore.
True.
In fact, what are people starting to look forward to in March? The next holiday, which is not a relationship day.
St. Patty's, baby.
And what is St. Patrick's Day?
It's all about drinking.
Big party day.
Yep.
St. Patrick's Day is kind of like a New Year's. It's an excuse for you and all your fucking European white friends to just get absolutely slammed, right?
Well, I get slammed with my friends of all backgrounds, Jack.
Me too. But as an Irishman,
Oh,
you know,
quit.
it's our holiday.
Canceled.
Anyways, that's actually a good rebound time too.
Yep.
Because what do people do that are single on fucking St. Patrick's Day? They go out to some bar with all their girls or all their boys,
They get buck wild.
fucking hammered for no reason. All the singles go out, just like New Year's. You know what? In a way, it's kind of interesting because what we're seeing is there's these trends throughout the year. They have this big day where you show appreciation for your loved one, and then right after that, you have a fucking degenerate get drunk day, right? So you got like your Halloween and your Christmas, and then if it don't work out, get fucking lit, New Year's, rebound, get drunk, get over it. Then you have your big Valentine's Day. If it doesn't work out, you got your get drunk, get lit, go out, go over it, St. Patrick's Day.
Dude, that blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
What a pattern.
The timing is there.
Holy shit, dude.
Now, I will say this too, guys. For those of you guys that are in relationships, Valentine's Day is a great day, man, because you know, it strengthens. It just shows. It's an excuse that you can just show appreciation. It's like a birthday, right? when somebody has a birthday, it's just an excuse to call them and tell them you love them. And when it's your birthday, it feels really good. Everyone's like, yo, dude, I love you. Happy birthday. What's going on with you? It's basically like, okay, everybody gets one day of the year that we let them know that we care about them. When you're in a relationship, you get a couple of those. You get like the Christmas, you get the New Year's, and yeah, you get Valentine's Day.
Whoa.
So it's like it's a birthday with just you and the person you're with in a relationship.
Special day.
Now, guys, thanks for watching this episode. We are going to be doing new episodes every single week. If you like this topic and you want to sponsor a video topic, go to the link below and hit the request a video link. Basically, when you request a video, you're actually making a video that not just you can see, but everybody else can see as well. That way, other people get the same answer to your question because maybe they're going through the same thing as you. I also do one-on-one consulting. Once again, hit the link in the description. Cringe Daddy, Wingman Plus, he does consulting as well for particularly online dating, Tinder profile reviews, and YouTube videos as well. Cringe Daddy on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Next week, big episode. This one's going to be on... Fuck, I actually forget. See, guys, there's a bunch of stats and shit I was going to pull up for this episode. Totally forgot to do it, though.
We went a little buck wild on this one, eh?
Yeah, let me just really quick pull up this article I had.
Oh, you brought stats into the picture, eh?
3 common reasons so many couples break up around Valentine's Day, according to research.
Oh.
So I got this big chart here. We're going to put it on the screen. It's called Peak Breakup Times. You know what? Fuck you guys. We're going to save that for another episode. That's juicy.
Oh, that
all right, okay. So these 3 reasons. Let's see. For all you guys watching, man, there's a lot of bullshit online. Ads everywhere. Okay, number 1, the pressure of expectations. Valentine's Day is marketed as a gift-giving holiday that represents your love equaling the gift you give. Ooh. Yeah, that's a big one. If you're ever with a girl and you get her a gift on Valentine's and she's like, babe, like that's not enough, that's a big fucking red flag. Yeah, because what I was going to say too with gifts, it's not about how much you give. It's like what it means, right?
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
I know it's cheesy, bro, but it's true.
Right.
Yeah. If you're with a girl who only is with you because you buy her nice stuff, it's not your girl.
Yeah.
It's just your turn.
That's right. A girl will rather appreciate something that's more meaningful and more like only you would be able to know this, right? For example, I had a girlfriend that graduated and because of COVID, she couldn't do anything with anybody. And, you know, a lot of her friends, they were busy. It wasn't as big a deal to them as it was to her. So for her, that graduation meant, you know, big degree, like a nice diploma. So what is she going to do with it? She's going to hang it on the wall. So
you bought her a nail.
A big fucking frame so that she could hang it on the wall and be proud of herself, right?
Wow.
Most dudes are going to get something a little different depending, right? You know, I know it sounds funny, but like sometimes you got to fucking mess it up too. Like just draw a picture of you and your baby girl, put it in a frame with macaroni and cheese on it.
Yeah.
Some stupid shit.
Couple Polaroids go a long way too.
Yeah, or go like bowling or go-karting, some wild shit, you know.
Laser tag and spin dip.
Laser tag and spin dip, that's a big one. But yeah, you know, just get creative with it. It could be big, it could be bougie, but you know, it's all about the thought and the meaning. Okay, number 2, social media comparisons. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Fuck. Everybody wants that big post on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Formal dress shirt.
Yeah. I think social media is just a toughie when it comes to relationships.
Let's see. A study conducted by psychologist Dr. Marion Mori found that couples who compare their lives and relationships to what they see happening in their friends' lives on social media become depressed, unfulfilled, and demand their partners live up to their perceptions of others. Wow.
I've never read something so true, man. I think it's like beyond relationships. Like anyone who's comparing themselves to anything they see on social media is on a path to being depressed, unfulfilled.
That goes for so much more than Valentine's Day too, guys. Like as a YouTuber, that fucks with me all the time. I'll be like, I put all this effort into this. How come I didn't get as many views as this other YouTuber?
Yeah, when they take the exact same idea that you came up with.
Oh man, not even just that, but like people that are doing something in different niches, but the algorithm just hits them better, man.
Yeah, bro.
Like some pods pop. For every good bro, bad bro that's doing really well, there's a friend club that's bombing right now.
True, bro.
Okay, number 3, the relationship is already in crisis. Yeah, that's pretty much what we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
A relationship struggling will crumble under the stress and demands of the holiday. Real quick, you ever been broken up with on Valentine's Day?
On Valentine's Day?
Yeah, or like around.
No, but I went through something worse on Valentine's Day once. I was forced to sit through 50 Shades of Grey, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd rather have been dumped than watch that fucking movie.
I've always had really chill times on Valentine's Day. The worst experience I had on Valentine's Day was I went on a date with a girl.
Oh.
They had a special.
No way.
It was at Kelsey's. They had a $50 and you get an appetizer, pasta, chicken Alfredo, and then a dessert that you share.
Well,
pretty good fucking deal. But God, this girl was like useless, man. She's super annoying, like beautiful girl, but like it was like talking to a rock, man. There's no personality there, no chemistry. Kind of sucked. And that's what happens though. You have that scarcity where you're like, well, I need to do something Valentine's.
That's why I rip an edible before every date, just in case that scenario happens.
Yeah, I mean, some girls you need more than just edibles, buddy.
Yeah.
But what you'll do is in that place of scarcity, you don't want to be the guy left out on Valentine's Day, just like the girl doesn't. So two people that have nothing in common and don't have any chemistry at all, they'll fuck, I got to do something Valentine's.
Yeah.
They'll go out and then they'll be like, God damn, that was a waste of time. That was miserable. We fell for the pressure of society and went into Valentine's Day because we thought that we had to, when in reality, like, we should have just spent it by ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, anything you want to add to that before we wrap it up?
Buddy, all I got to say for Valentine's Day, guys, keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it clean, and keep it toxic.
Stay toxic, guys. All right, peace out.